This time, the models get bigger, bolder, and way more complex. Hello friends, welcome to the third part of Master of Hard Surface. Without any delay, let's jump into the first model. First, I create a cylinder and change the number of vertices to 60. The reason is that I want to have more supporting edges and reduce the need for adding subdivisions. We scale down the top part of the cylinder and use inset and extrude to create an indentation. Next, we add edge loops on the surface to create additional support lines. This helps prevent issues later when applying bevels. Now we select 2 rows of polygons out of every 4 rows and then proceed to extrude them. Then, we slightly move the top part upward to achieve a better shape. Next, we select the inner edges and press Ctrl+X to dissolve them, refining the shape to our desired form. We select the bottom edges of our detail and press G twice to slide them upward. Now we want to add bevel to the model, and as you can see, some issues appear around the corners. So we activate the knife tool by pressing the K key, and by drawing cuts around the raised area, we try to reduce those problems. As you can see, by pressing G twice and moving the vertices, you can reduce the issues. Do this for 1/4 of the model, then use Alt+X to mirror it. For the top part, create a 32-sided cylinder, then use BoxCutter along with a 16-sided circle to make a cut. After that, use HardOps radial array to rotate it around the model. Next, connect the vertices together just like we did before. Now we want to apply a boolean to the mesh. But as you can see, the top part of the mesh appears black. This is because the normals are flipped. To fix this issue, first enable face orientation so you can see the inverted normals, which will appear red. Here it was easier to first select the blue faces and go to the mesh menu, then normals and flip them to make them red as well. Then press A to select all and flip them once more to correct all the normals. Now the problem is solved, and we can easily apply a bevel to the model and complete it. For the middle section, we create a cylinder and use inset and extrude, and finally apply a mirror to reach the final result. For the bottom part of the mesh, we create another cylinder. Then, by adding a loop cut in the middle, scaling it, and applying a bevel, we achieve the desired result. Let's move on to the second mesh. This mesh resembles a triangle that is indented inward and beveled. So we create a cylinder and change the number of vertices to 3 to turn it into a triangle. Then we duplicate a face using Shift+D and next press P and choose Selection to separate it. With the segment we created in the middle, we push it inward and apply a boolean to it. Now we try to adjust the corners in a way that by applying Solidify and Radial Array, the gaps between the panels are created. Just like that, our base is created. Next, using BoxCutter in join mode, we add cylinders to our mesh. However, due to the gap between the panels, we need to add a cut to our cutter so that the empty space doesn't disappear. Next, we try to connect the vertices together to get closer to the final result. Next, we need to create a hollow inside the cylinders, And as always, connect the vertices together. In this part, we want to apply a Boolean operation to the mesh, but we need to make sure the vertices are clean and have no issues. Next, we add some details to the panel and use a radial array to create the remaining panels as well. Let's move on to the third mesh. Once again, we create a cylinder and use the gone line mode to draw a line. By increasing its thickness, we create the first cut. Make sure it's centered properly. By adding a radial array and adjusting it precisely, you can model just 1/4 of the object, and then use the radial array again to complete the mesh. Now you need to make sure to connect the vertices properly to avoid any issues. Now by pressing F, we fill in the empty spaces and then use Extrude and Bevel to get closer to the final result. All right, guys, that's our tutorial for today. If you enjoyed it, please support us by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks for watching.